G'day everyone. Today we're not playing the usual DOS games. We're playing Minecraft. Now part of the reason for this is because Minecraft has recently received a patch for the Nether update. This is a world that I play with my brother, who doesn't have a YouTube channel, but we're sharing this world. So we're going to have a quick tour and then we're going to go and have a bit of a fun in the Nether, trying to find some more netherite. You can see I've already found some netherite tools. Let's go and have a quick tour of the world. So this spot here is the first house that I built. I just found an island near my brother's starting house. His starting base is over there. And decided this would be a good spot to build a house. So I built a house. It's a pretty basic little thing. I'm not a spectacular builder. And here's what it looks like on the inside. This was actually quite a while ago, so it doesn't include a lot of the newer blocks, but yeah, it's a decent home. And we've got access to the Nether and a basement down here with a few basic farms. Little basic melon and pumpkin farm. And the Nether portal. Anyhow, let's get flying and take a look at some of the other structures in this world. Okay. Over here we're going to find my Guardian farm. So this farm is based on a farm designed by Cubfan. I watch a lot of the Hermits and Hermitcraft in general. And this was something he implemented, I think, in Season 5? I think they may have also done a similar farm in Season 6 as well. But basically the deal is you have a lot of soul sand at the bottom causing bubble columns, and you have water streams up the top to push the Guardians down a tube. It takes a lot of the effort out of making a Guardian farm because you don't have to drain the area, although you do have to remove the temple. But you just basically funnel the Guardians down to a killing area down the bottom. Let's go and have a look at the killing area and the sorting system. It's not terribly sophisticated, but it's reasonably nicely built down there. So let's go have a look. It's fairly deep down in the world. It's down near the mining layer. Some of my mining tunnels actually go past here. Okay, here we are. So this is where the rubbish is disposed of if I've got too much or something. Got storage for fish. The fish is great for trading, to be honest. Nether crystals. Oh, sorry, not nether crystals. Prismarine crystals. And prismarine shards. This farm generates so much of them that these barrels fill up pretty quick. So I don't have to AFK at this farm very often. Got a few spare bits and pieces in here and just somewhere to sleep and work. And enchant, because I actually use this farm for experience. Just basically got where the Guardians die, where you kill them. They will die to entity cramming if you don't kill them manually. So this will, once it warms up, be constantly flowing. But yeah, that's all there is to it. Out the back is the guts of the sorting system, so nothing too much to worry about there. And the mining tunnel. This railway carries through some of my builds, so basically from the mining station over there, it goes through here out to my witch farm. Over in the distance over there is my gold farm. Let's fly over and take a look. It's an overworld gold farm. Not a lot of people seem to build these anymore. Basically, you build massive nether portals, and that means that zombie piglins now will spawn in them. Use a little bit of water, and you can collect them and kill them for gold. Again, a pretty simple system. This place doesn't just house my gold farm, there's also a slime farm as well. So we'll go downstairs and look at that. This is the killing chamber. I don't do this for experience. I've just basically got a simple crush mechanism that you can turn off there. Just wait for it to activate to see how it works. There you go. Crushes them for some time and then retracts. Out the backyard here is the timing mechanism. I've always had trouble getting etho hopper clocks to work, so I sort of it's sort of a hopper clock, but it's my hacked together equivalent of etho's hopper clock. I don't know why I can't get the normal ones to work properly, but I just do have trouble with it. Oh, there's some piglins in there dying. So once they're dead, the drops are collected and they go down here. There's a sorter behind this wall, and they get sorted into gold nuggets and other junk. And there is a disposal unit for if this fills up as well. But it almost never does, because it's a fairly slow farm in comparison to one that's built in the nether roof. If I come down the stairs here, you can see I've got a slime farm, and it looks like an enderman has left a sand block up there for some reason. So let's go down. Basically, it's just a bunch of platforms, and the slimes jump off, and they land in the magma, and then they die. And underneath, there is a railway track with a hopper minecart collecting up all of the goods, which are then sent up an elevator. I seem to be stuck. There we go. Okay. We'll just go upstairs in here, and this is where the storage room is. So I don't have that much storage, but it's already fairly full. So I don't really need any more slime than what I have. In here is a little furnace attached to a kelp farm. So it's constantly generating kelp for me. So that gives me a fuel supply over here if I need it. Fuel is good. I also use it as an experience generator as well when I need it. And if the kelp runs out, I can put sea pickles through it with this sea pickle farm to also generate experience. And that way I can sort of generate experience from bone meal, stored up there, by smelting the sea pickles. Think of it like a zero-tick fueled furnace array, but instead fueled by bone meal and sea pickles instead. This is the AFK fish farm. They're fairly common devices. Don't really use it much because I didn't really care for the mechanic at all. Although I do have a few little collections of things. I'm actually mostly interested in getting the potion ingredients. So that the changes to fishing shouldn't affect being able to get those. Now let's go back up to the surface. Over here is something that I'm building that's still in progress. I'm building a castle. This is probably one of the biggest builds I've built so far. But it's not finished yet. Part of that is because the materials only just came in the Nether update. I wanted to use some of the wood for, say, a little roof up there and some other things as well. I'm going to be moving some of my trading villages from what is currently my main base over here. The reason for that is my main base is in the spawn chunks, and having lots of villages there causes us lag. So where the villagers are going to go is in this section down here that I've made to be a dungeon. I've already got the railway track in place, so I'm going to bring my villagers from my trading centre up the railway track into here, and then build the trading centre in here. So we might as well go and have a look at where they currently are. They're over in my iron farm base, so we've got to fly over there. Okay, we're approaching what is currently my main base. It originally was just that little block there in the middle, but I've been adding little bits and pieces to it all over for quite some time. Up here, let's open that. Up here I've added this part on top, and it's to house a new style iron farm. So up there I've got some villagers in a little pod, and a zombie to scare them. A little bit of redstone so that they actually get some time to work and sleep as well. And the generated iron golems fall down here and then go into the old system to be killed by lava, and then have the ingots put into storage. Downstairs is where the old iron farm was, the original one. So in this section here was where the iron golem spawned. I've taken away some of it there. And down here was where the villagers used to run around the outside of the spawning platform for the golems. Now I used to actually trade with those villagers as well. Down here is my pumpkin and melon farm. These little harvesting devices are stuff that I designed when I first started playing Minecraft in Bedrock. They're fairly cheap is the reason I built them this way. You don't need to get any nether quartz. You basically need 2 pistons. One of them is sticky, a repeater, a redstone torch, and a little bit of redstone. And it's relatively cheap for harvesting pumpkins or melons. It's probably not efficient in terms of space. I think Il Mango's design is probably the best for that. But just for getting a little bit of supply, it works well for me. This is the part where the golems die. Let me just go downstairs and get out of the way. So I've got myself a few farms in this place. I've got a sugarcane farm here. It's probably not the best design because really I should have a hopper minecart going underneath that to make sure I don't have any loss. But I didn't really have the ceiling height in this room. Enchanting and the usual kinds of stuff you need with enchanting. And over here is where I'm storing melons. Over here is where I'm storing pumpkins. And in here is where I've got a bedroom under the sea. I put my potion brewing room in a similar pod. I thought that was a nifty idea. And it's kind of nice to look out into the ocean. And if you want to fill your bottles with water, you just get it through the little window there. It's not the prettiest building, but it's reasonable for me. Basic storage and a cobblestone generator is what this is. A little furnace array. It's not a particularly pretty space, but it's mostly utilitarian. Just basically for storage and crafting and using a furnace. This is the top of my mob farm in this base. This is the top of the elevator where the items are caught. Nether portal and a kelp farm. I've built a lot of stuff in this place. It's a bit cramped. Down this little path, we've got something built into the bottom of the ocean. This is a villager trading centre. So I sort of this is probably one of the more recent additions to the base. My villagers live in little pods on the sides where they have their beds, and their workstations. And the centre part here is where they have their meetings in the middle of the day, or at the end of the day. A section for farming. where most of them sleep. Where the clerics are supposed to sleep. Not all of them seem to be scattered around. And a feature I built into this base for a reason that I'll tell you. I built into this base a trap for the golems. Before this update, the game would spawn way too many golems, and I would have like 15 golems in this area. So I basically put this seamless door in so that they would occasionally come in here and get killed in the lava when they chase this zombie. Unfortunately, it wasn't as effective as I'd hoped. And having this open automatically, because of when a villager slept, seemed to cause problems for the game. It caused crashes. So I have to keep the door shut when I'm not in the area anyway. At one point, I did actually have a 0-tick experience farm. This is where it was. It's been converted now to just basically standard farms for cactus and sugarcane. So down there is a bamboo farm. You don't smelt stuff with sugarcane, you smelt it with bamboo. So the bamboo farm's in there, and that supplies the fuel, which is mostly full from look at that. Up here is where the cactus farm is. And the way that the cactus is picked up is by hopper minecarts that are embedded in those sand blocks underneath the cactus. I found that's probably the best way to pick up as much cactus as you can. There's still lots, obviously, as you can see. So chuck that in there. Okay. Down this way, there's just basically a dome and a place to grow trees. This is mostly made for aesthetic reasons. I'm not the best builder in terms of making things look pretty, but I thought a big underwater dome would look cool. I've got my farm and my dogs down here and some place to grow trees. There's an airlock that you can use to go out into the water. So if you want to go out for a swim, you can do that. Let's go inside. And down here, probably not the best place for it, but this is where I have my bees. They're just waking up for the morning now. I built a fairly simple triggering device for actually doing the harvesting. Works for me, but there is maintenance required. You have to put fill the dispensers every now and then, and pick up the empty glass bottles. Because sometimes it doesn't seem to collect or trigger right. Not sure what the deal is there, but that's just what happens. And the last thing that I've built in this base, probably the biggest base I've currently got apart from the castle that's still in development, is the Mop Farm. This is actually probably really quite terrible in terms of Mop Farm standards. It's not terribly fast, I suppose. I'll just turn it on. Right, so here we've got overflow chests. I put heaps of them in. I'm not sure why I put so many in, but I did. And that's where you can find excess stuff that after the main sorting system is filled up. Got a system for string, gunpowder, rotten flesh. All those are for rotten flesh. Then I've got arrows and bones over here. And all of the small items that don't come out very often end up in these chests, and I occasionally pull them out. And put them into those chests over there. So the main gubbins of the farm are down the bottom. We'll go down there and take a quick look. This is where I store the little pieces. Let's go down and look at the gubbins of the farm. a little AFK spot that I put for using the farm AFK. I built it in the bottom of the world because that's where the highest spawn rates are supposed to be. It turns out I needn't have bothered with this particular design. So over here I've got another one of my sort of etho clocks. And I used that to turn on and off these pistons here, one up there, that retain water behind about here. And what that does is when the piston is retracted, it lets water flow down and it pushes all the mobs into the center to be killed. Now let's go down to the actual chamber. See some mobs coming out here. I'm not going to walk past them considering that they're creepers. Okay, let's go have a look. So we've just got the dark areas. When you turn the farm off, these redstone lamps come on and they reduce the amount of the mob spawning, so you can come in and do maintenance. And the section is sort of 2 areas deep, so there's sort of like there's quite a large spawning area. The trouble with the farm though is that whilst there's a large spawning area, it takes a long time for the mobs to get pushed out of the spawning area and to be killed. And that's what holds up the rates of this farm. It's not particularly quick. It's effective, but it's not quick. One of the main downsides, of course, is that it does tax the machine with a lot of water flow changes, but that hasn't actually caused as much problem with lag. Okay. What we might do now is I'm going to fly a longer distance out to my witch farm and my wizard tower. The 2 last places we'll visit. And then we'll go to the Nether to actually start doing, go back to my mine for getting netherite. We'll see how I'm actually going with that. We'll have another go at getting some netherite. So over here is a wizard tower that I started building. And I was actually waiting for the Nether update to complete it because I wanted to use crimson wood for the roof. But otherwise, most of this is actually complete. It's been decorated on the inside. And I tried to build, somewhat unsuccessfully, a little lumber yard here that does some basically wood cutting. So since we're closer to that, we'll go and have a quick look inside. This is meant to be a log carrying cart, but the cart itself is fine, but it's sort of not in a great place. It's not the best terrain around there. Inside I've got a steam boiler. This is meant to be for fueling the engine for cutting the logs. A bit of storage. Down here is some lumber storage. And over here, as simple as it is the cutting mechanism. Of course, I didn't actually have the blocks for making an engine or the space, really, so yeah, I could have picked somewhere better for that, but it is what it is. The tower itself up there is much more detailed. I'm actually pretty happy with the inside of it in particular. Let's go up and take a look. I've used a lot of different types of blocks to break it up and give it a different texture. Put a nice garden around and a wheelbarrow that has filled up with water. I got some bees buzzing and some horses. Oh, and the berry bushes, of course. I have been using the berries for food, but they're not very good food if you're going into combat. So I built a nice fireplace. Oh, I'm actually quite happy with that. I think that's pretty good. The basic work and kitchen area. I'm using hoppers for sinks at the moment because cauldrons look better, but they attract villagers. And so, particularly in any place where I've built a village, I have to make sure I use hoppers as a sink representation. Just go upstairs. I built a little library, a place to do your enchanting, a place to sit and read a book. I think this was just put there so you can put a book on it. And you can go out here and look over the landscape. Let's go upstairs. This is the bedroom level. Somewhere to sleep. And a little balcony to take a look out of the landscape. There's one of my little houses over there. We won't bother looking at that one. That's quite old. This is my potion area for the Wizard's Tower. Every good wizard needs a potion brewing place. Supplies of stuff like melons, netherwort, carrots. I think this one's for pumpkins. Although you don't really need pumpkins for brewing, but it's there. A cauldron just in case you need it. Yeah, I suppose I don't have villagers around here, so it's not as big a deal. And storage for all my potion making stuff, although it only really fills that chest there. And up the top up here is going to be an attic. After I construct the roof, I'm going to put cobwebs and storage in here to make it look attic-y, and maybe perhaps a roof window of some kind. So I think one more place that we'll go is the witch farm. Then we're going to head into the Nether. So the witch farm is out that way. Let's get flying. Over there is my witch farm. This is the AFK house. The witches are obviously in there. I think this is a Exuma Void design that I copied. I suppose is, I should say inspired by. But basically, this is an old design where it's powered by water. The water pushes the witches off and down this side channel. I think probably the better design is to use flying machines for this particular kind of farm. The water elevator comes up here and the items get stored in this building here. This is probably one of the harder farms to build in the sense that it's harder to condition the area around the witch hut. I had to dig out all of the islands in the nearby vicinity, which is why there's just one great big ocean around this particular place. This island is just on the edge of the 128 blocks, but everything else I had to dig out, and I went under the water and lit up all the caves as best I could as well. Over here in particular, I had to do loads of digging. I've got a few other small little facilities as well. This railway goes back to my original house via the Guardian farm. This ugly looking thing is a kelp farm. I have to do something about that building. It is ugly as. And I've got a sugarcane farm for use with the gunpowder to make rockets. And I've got a bamboo farm. A very small one, just in case you want fuel. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to fly back to where there's a nether portal, because I don't have one out here. And we're going to head out to my nether base, from where we're going to go out to one of the new areas and start mining for netherite. The new music is so atmospheric, it's quite good. Here we are at my nether base. This was built ages ago, just to have something in the Nether. I'm at quite some distance from most of the other infrastructure here as well. So it's out on its own. There's sort of an outpost of my stuff. There is a section in the overworld as well, but that's just basically sorts of farms that you can't really have in the Nether. Mostly crop farms, also animals as well. I grow trees in here. I'm not going to need to grow trees in here anymore because the Nether can now grow trees, which is awesome. And this is my main work area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some stuff away, and then we're going to head out to the place where I've been mining and checking for netherite. I won't be too long. Oh, look at you, you poor ugly cold thing. Yeah, I found this Bastion. I've already raided it. I didn't actually find it that hard to raid. I thought it would be more difficult. You just have to basically kill the big ones and manage how many of them have access to you at a time. And then you can basically do whatever you want. I found the magma cubes in the middle to be more hazardous. One less cast. And that's shot. Okay, let's go down to the mine. Okay, you can see I've been using explosives to look for netherite. Well, ancient debris, the technical term. Oh, I was hoping I'd have an ender chest down here. We will swap that out for gold, because we're probably going to need the gold. But we're going to basically dig down a channel like this, and then use explosives to do something like this. I used beds to do this section, and the main problem with using beds is all of the fire that you have to avoid. But otherwise it wasn't actually too bad. The main problem with looking for netherite in this part of this world is the basalt deltas are very ineffective in terms of explosives. So you just put one in there and actually use it. Yeah, you can sort of see that the TNT didn't really do all that much. And that makes looking for netherite in the basalt deltas really tricky. And unfortunately, I haven't actually found much else other than basalt deltas. So basically, we'll just do what we can and see how we go. I'll speed it up once I do some digging and some explosive work. Okay, I think it's time to blow this lot of TNT up and see if we can find some more netherite. Let the fun commence. You always find loads of lava when you do this. Oh, I think I blew a hole in the bottom of a lava lake or something over there. Basically, the next part comes is getting rid of the lava and doing your best to find the netherite in amongst the debris. Now there we got 11 netherite. That's pretty dang good. Oh, 12. There's one there. I should say ancient debris. I keep on confusing the two. Oh, lava behind that. Okay, I think we can continue blasting. Oh, time for explosions. I think we can probably knock those ones out. Lick it. I did not get lucky this time. There's no netherite visible. I keep saying it. It's ancient debris. My tools are netherite. The material that you mine is ancient debris. That is weird. Like, he's smaller than me and he died in there. I agree, whatever that means. Okay, well, we got unlucky that time. Maybe you should just set one off here just to make it complete. You never know. No such luck. Okay, well, I think we've actually got enough netherite for now with ancient debris. Ah! I think we've got enough ancient debris for now. We can return here to do some more searching for. We can return here to do some more searching for ancient debris another time, if we happen to need it. I think I've got enough there to cover all my armor now, which is good news. I do need some for my shovel and another pick and probably a hoe. But I think it's probably best that we go and set it up on our armor once we can, and maybe we'll come back. So I've gotten back to my base safely, which is good. And we've gotten back with some glowstone and some good netherite, well, ancient debris supplies. So let's get them smelting. And I'll pick one that's not got stuff on it. Okay, check it on that. Now let's put away some of our junk, and we're going to make a respawn anchor, seeing as I remembered to get some glowstone. This is the material that I recently got from the Bastion that was near my mine. So that's a pretty good amount of gold blocks. It was well worth it. For the moment, we're just going to put it here against this window, and we'll charge it up. Nice. Just put these in here as spares. Excellent. So now I can respawn here if something happens when I'm out in the world looking for something. In the interest of not making this video too long, I think that we'll stop there for today. But next time we'll probably get back to playing some old DOS games, maybe a bit of GW Basic. Until then, I'll see you next time. Ah, damn pigman.